Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby, yeah. You know, say ready for this. You know I have place.
Hey, I don't need me nobody, I need me a Rari. Yeah, you bought from the seats to the lobby. Yeah, hey, to the parties, man, over everything, and we not going for nothing. I think we on to something. It's getting dark in here. That mean the storm is coming.
Yes. Greetings, family. Once again, it is the Grand Rising Collective podcast with yours truly, Kyle Dixon, your co-host, and your other co-host, Kylie Bentley. We have a special guest in the house today, colleague, well-respected artist in the industry by the name of Inza Bamba. So before we get into that, family, for those who are not familiar with Grand Rising Collective podcast, we are a podcast consisting of myself, Kyle Dixon, and Kylie Bentley. I am an educator / activist / entrepreneur. I've been an educator for over 20 years. Been an entrepreneur for over 15 years. And we, myself and Kade, wanted to start the Grand Rising podcast as a platform for people in the community globally to come and share their expertise, share their knowledge, share their wisdom in order to help us be our better selves and to reach to a higher plateau. So that's one of the main reasons we termed the Grand Rising Collective, to remind us that, like the saying in the morning, good morning, Grand Rising, to reach for excellence, to be excellent, and always be able to rise to the occasion of obstacles, challenges, and other things that may stand in your way. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Kylie Bentley.
Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate you. Always the warm welcome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be brief. You know, I have a habit of being long-winded, so I'm trying to get as much information as I can or have you, but get right to it.
I just blow the horn, man, like Miles, like on my shirt.
As Carl said, my name is Kylie Bentley. I'm the president and founder of an organization called 4T, which stands for Teaching Teens to Think. The mission of the organization is to help inner city youth identify their inherent skill set, so that way they can capitalize on it to complete their higher education college and move on to establish a career or start a business if they choose to. That's one hat that I wear, and it's important that I share that with you so you know who's speaking to you and who you're listening to. The other hat that I wear is professor at Fordham University, where I teach in social justice and social sciences with relation to nonprofit to help inner city youth, again, capitalize on their inherent skill set so that way they can start a organization of some sort to make society a better place. The third hat that I wear is I sit on the advisory board at LIU, according to the same template, same format to help inner city youth, help enhance their skill set so they can open or start a organization that better helps inner city youth. Now, I said all that to say how that ties into the Grand Rising Collective. All that knowledge and information that I have, as well as over 20 years in IT, I bring it to the platform here of Grand Rising Collective because my target demographic are inner city youth between the ages of 24. It's important, and I'm grateful, and I'm honored to be a part of Grand Rising Collective because it allows me to share that wealth of knowledge that I have and that I share with my colleagues to a broader base, which consists of the inner cities, to help them leverage the information that we're giving them to escalate and elevate to make the neighborhood into a community and to make the community a better place at large. So that's what I bring to the table at this collective. And without going any further, without any further delay, you know how I say this, Kyle be bringing the bangers. Gotta bring the bangers because Kyle be doing it.
Always.
We are privileged, honored, blessed to have with us today the brother by the name of Inza, who's going to share with us his experience. And we're going to, you know how we do, ask him questions. So without any further delay, Inza, thank you so very much for joining us. Please introduce yourself, whatever you know, and then we're going to dive right into our discussion, brother. Thank you so much. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Inza Bamba. I carry, just like you, I carry a lot of hats. We got to do it in New York City, and multiple skills, Started from the bottom, came from Africa, was born in West Africa, in Ivory Coast. Some people say Côte d'Ivoire. Speak French. And, I'm just very grateful for everything that has happened. It's been a lot of work, and it's still a lot of work. And just like you, I also try to inspire everyone else, try to get my hands in as many things as possible, and just let the imagination just go anywhere you can go. No limits. That's my thing. Nothing can stop you. You can make anything happen if you work hard. Even if you don't make it, at least you tried. You know what I mean? That's for me. That's it. So I was fortunate to meet some good people in my life, and I continue to do the same thing. And so yeah, I'm here to learn from you all as well. As we do in Africa, it's all about give and take. So I'm here to learn as I give. So I see all the work you all are doing. It's an honor for me to be here. So that's all I can say.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Well, oh, excuse me, my bad. Then I think merci beaucoup.
Wow, that's it. That's all you got.
Well, comment allez-vous?
Yeah, that's good.
French fry, French toast.
Okay, now you're going down. That's like some. Okay, I can't even say. But, I don't know how we got this far, but I appreciate it. Thank you. I understand.
Definitely, but I'm trying, man. I'm trying. You know, man. But yeah, Inza, man. I want to start off with how did you get to the States, man? From Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. How did you get from there to the States, man?
I took this boat and started swimming. No, I'm kidding. No. So I when I was young, I felt like I wanted to be somewhere else. I always wanted to challenge myself. I'm the kid who would take his sister's watch or anyone's watch and just break it up just to see if I can put it together again. Now I couldn't do it. People would beat me up later on and be like, you destroyed this thing. But I was just curious. I wanted to know how these things worked. I was always curious like that. Like why is it ticking? What's making it tick? And I opened these things. So I was always dreaming. I always had dreams, and there's no bigger place than dreams in America. So I always, used to watch a lot of American TV, 21 Jump Street. Back then with the good Johnny Depp, and it was cool.
Tommy Robinson.
Yeah, and why. I was just a big fan of it. I was like, man, this is what's happening out there. I gotta come to America, the land. It's gonna be cool. I had all these dreams and all these ideas, and basically, my sister was in Ithaca, upstate New York, and she was doing a PhD out there, and so she invited me, and so that was how I got here, and I went to high school, and everything else happened.
Wow, nice. Wow, yeah, man.
So after you after you graduated high school, what college did you?
So I got accepted at Berklee College of Music in Boston. Yeah, I wanted to be an engineer. That was my path. I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be a recording engineer. I wanted to do acoustic. I love sound. I was always, again, twinkling, just sitting around, on a console, figuring out how things work.
And Inza, that sounds like an engineer when you said tinkering with the watch. But I was thinking like mechanical. I was thinking more like mechanical engineer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's basically. Well, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of technicalities that are involved in being a recording engineer. I mean, back then, I went to school studying, working on analog. Now it's all digital, and so I work on. I don't know. I'm dating myself, but we had 2-inch tapes. And when I was one thing I forgot to mention, when I was a kid in the Ivory Coast, I used to make my own DJ tapes.
Oh wow!
My own mixtape.
Oh. I'm that kid too. Pause joint. Yeah.
And then splicing everything else and cutting it together. Wow. We didn't do that.
No, I didn't go that far. I just did the pause. The pause.
So I had like a mechanism. I was like, okay, there's a show that used to come on every Friday in the Ivory Coast.
Mhm.
So back then you had the boombox with the record and the the play
Yep,
both sides.
Yes.
So I had a so what I would do, I would have a blank. It's like crazy when I think back about it. I'm like, I used to do these things, man. What was wrong with me? But so I would record the entire show, right? And then I would delete the section when the host would talk.
Okay.
I would mute that, and then I would re-record my own voice over that song. Yo, 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 this is Inza, man, and we're coming straight to you in the. This is the next hit right here, big, big, big.
Hey.
And the break dancers would come out, put cardboard box and start spinning. My brother used to spin, do all the stuff. So we used to just do all the steps,
Yeah, rock, yeah.
Yeah, that's all we could do. That's as far as I could go, I couldn't do anything else more. That was it.
Yo, this kid Inza, man, it's no joke, man.
It was fun, man. So in a sense, now that I'm talking about it, I'm remembering like it's all connected. There's no coincidences. So I got accepted at Berklee College of Music in Boston, but I didn't have any money to stay. So I went there, but it was really hard. I felt like a stranger, and Boston is a different city.
Definitely.
So I decided I left and went back to upstate New York to a smaller community college in a town called Canandaigua. And then, I know it's called the Chosen Place or Chosen Land, one of those two.
Man, that sounds like a God thing because I've never.
Yeah, I think it's a Native American name, Canandaigua. And so it's in the Finger Lakes. So there was a community college out there, the Finger Lakes Community College. And honestly, if it wasn't for, there you go, it goes to show you don't have to go to an Ivy League or a big school. You go to a small community college and your whole life could change. So I went there and my whole life changed.
Okay.
Wow,
So, yeah,
man.
it changed.
It's funny you mention that because, like, I went to Alfred State College, upstate New York, 7 hours away, and I went there for mechanical engineering or mechanical drafting or whatever, like the little watch part you was talking about, same thing. Well, whole experience, but I'm not going to take up time with that. But I left there to come back here to the city to go to BMCC Community College.
Yes, I know.
And it's there where I did the business administration as opposed to computer science. So it's just how this is a small world and how our paths change, and you don't have to go to a prestigious college, to achieve what you need to achieve. So my follow-up to that is, how did you turn the music and sound? Or let me ask you this question: to you, what's the difference between a job and a career, and how did you incorporate that into music?
So a job. Now I would be disingenuous if I said that I knew what was gonna happen and I knew it was gonna be this and that. Like I said, there's some invisible hands at play. Some people who passed away, who passed on the baton. Okay. I'm taking it. So I've been teaching math at Bank Street College, passing on the baton as well. And so I've been doing it for 12 years. Working with a lot of kids from an after-school program at Bank Street College on 112 and Broadway. Just working with 6th, 7th, 8th grades, just like getting these young men and women to really start believing in themselves and like really, just having a black man's presence there. I think, and I don't want to sugarcoat it. I know, and I have mad respect for the sisters, but I think you need a black man to be right there and like to kids to see it, because many of them don't have that at home, and just to have that, so that was a big thing. And so in a sense, to answer you, what is the difference between a job and a career? I would say a career, and I'm going to take the career, is something, like if I had nothing else to do in my life, if nothing else was going on, and that was the only thing that I did, I would be good. I'd be like, you know what? I could do this. It brings me so much joy. It brings me so much dignity. I'm at peace. I can eat a little bit. I may not have a mansion, but it's something that I can I can see myself growing here and leaving a legacy. The key word legacy comes back for me a lot lately.
Yeah.
So leaving something behind for the next people. So a job, it's the one you clock in. My first job was at McDonald's, and Mickey D's. I was a chef. I gotta tell everyone.
You working fries? You working fries, bro?
Man, nah, I was the main chef. I was making fajitas. I was making burgers. I was making the and I'm gonna get some people to be like, "What is he talking about?" I used to make the cherry pies.
Oh yeah, the cherry pies.
Cherry pies. I don't make cherry pies anymore.
No, I don't think they
make only apple pies. The cherry pies were the bomb. I love those things, man. So I was the chef. So McDonald's, you would punch in. It was a job. There was no future in there. I figured it was something I could do after school. And when I was in high school, I was doing that. And so that would be my answer. A career is something that it's just I have so much passion for it. And I in a sense, what I've discovered now is if you can find something that's a career where you can get paid, that would be the perfect thing. And I tell everyone, find that. Look for something that really works for you, that makes you unique in your own way, and that comes to you very easily. Yeah, you want to be challenged, but something that comes to you easily, you don't have to struggle so much with it. I'm a proponent of that, and then you can grow in there. Because the universe, we're not all built the same way. There are some students who learn a lot faster than others who learn differently. They have street smart. So I want to cultivate all that. So whatever works for you, I want to help you maximize your potential and growth. So a career for me, it's something that I would say brings me so much joy and passion. Then even if I wasn't getting paid, I would still do.
Awesome.
It's just
one follow-up question, Kyle, before I know you're going to enter in. How did you make that successful transition from college, where you went, and teaching math into music? And would you classify music as your career?
So I am going through another change right now. And that's one thing that I tell everyone. It is so important. I was telling Kyle recently that there was the calculus was invented during a pandemic. People don't know that. Go check it out. So, that whoever, I forgot his name, decided, I'm going to start working during this period on this thing. And I've always seen this moment as a transition. And so I've sort of changed, rebranding myself again. I'm in the middle of it. And that's why I'm saying I want to learn from y'all, see what you guys are doing and learn from it. I would say it never, when does it change? It never ends. You're constantly evolving. You got to keep rebranding yourself and presenting. And that's what makes life exciting, is that I'm not defined by one thing. I can do multiple things. I can be this, I can be that, When I was in college, I studied philosophy. And I get people like, why are you doing that? Aren't you going to get hired as a philosopher? I said, no, but I want to do it. Limitless. Just do it. Go for it. So when did I make the transition? The first time from audio engineering to becoming a composer is when I looked around the room and I noticed that the composer was the one making the most money. And I said, wait a minute. Okay, the top engineers are getting paid $1,000 per day, right? The top engineers, and I've worked with a lot of amazing. I can't say name, but these are giants who've worked on everything that everyone knows, everyone's heard. And I sat as an assistant engineer. I've been in a room where they're in a big chair, and then I've watched. And beside the owners of the companies, I noticed that many of these owners were also creatives, and so I figured I wanted to make that switch. And also, I would say this: many times when I sat in the engineering seat, I found myself being creative, and that's something usually you don't see. Most engineers are very disciplined, and they're very technical, and they just want to do what the creatives want to do. I just found myself like, okay, let's do this now. Let's try this. Can we? They're like, wait a minute, that's not your project. You're not hired for that. And so
Can't box me in. Cannot box me in. No,
yeah.
no.
So that's when I think that's when I figured, you know what, let me just make let me see if I can make a smooth transition to this. And it took time, and it's still happening. That's why I'm not saying that I'm there. I'm still going through a transition, and I'm grateful for it. I'm really happy about that transition. It's like, yes, let's go. Very scary, but every time it's scary, that's when I know there's something here. That's my thing, you know. Like when you feel that fear, that you're alive. It's time to go. It's go time.
Yeah. Yeah, and that fear can, thank you for sharing it, Inza. Yeah, that fear can definitely be a motivator. You know, it can be an inhibitor, but it can definitely be a motivator if used right.
Absolutely.
And like kind of asked a great question as far as like the difference between job and career. I know a lot of times people like, well, what's the difference? One of the acronyms for jobs is just over broke. Some people say. It serves a purpose. Like you said, I worked at McDonald's. I worked at a cafe, washing dishes, doing prep cook work. You know what I'm saying? And it
I
teaches
did
a lot
that too.
Yeah, did that. I've done many other jobs after that, you know, and it just gives you a variation of skill and like experience that you can take into like any opportunity and be able to talk to people, relate to folks, and also just different skill levels. And also what you were saying too, Enza, I think myself and Kaide can say this without question, is that, you know, we came into the job market looking for one thing or seeing ourselves in one way. But then once we got in there, like, oh, I actually have another skill to do this too, or I have another interest in doing this. So one of my friends used to describe it to me as like alarm clock. Like it's like our own internal alarm clocks. They go off at different times. It's like these dormant skills are asleep, and then the alarm clock goes off, and it's like, oh, it wakes. You know, it's like, oh wow, I didn't, you know, yeah. One of my homeboys put me on that. Shout out to my boy Bobby. What up? So yeah. So Enza, I want to go into, since you're going into your engineer and family. For those who like see this, please like, subscribe, and share. All right, this brother is a heavyweight. So Emmy nominated. Let me before we leave it, Emmy nominated. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's not bragging. That's boasting. That's just facts. But
Two.
Enza, two. Ooh, excuse me, my bad.
We say don't want to brag, but I'm a listen.
You're right, two.
Right. There you go.
You know, if you can't celebrate, and it's not about bragging. If you can't celebrate the pride, you know, like any little thing, then what's the point of living? You know, just celebrate it, be proud of it, you know, and inspire other people, you know. And I want someone else to get 4. I'm not the best composer in town, but I want someone else to get 5 or 6. But yeah, let them know that it's doable. We can do this. So
Indeed, brother. And again, like you said, not only you having that skill, but being in the classroom with our youth is amazing. But I want to go into that creative process, man, because you know, I see myself as a type of artist. You know, Kaide is all creative. We created this as well. But like, what's your process, man? Like, I know sometimes when I look at certain musicians, especially like Miles, he had a process. Coltrane had a process. Michael had a process. Quincy Jones had a process. Like, what's your process?
So I work in one of the companies where Hans Zimmer worked in. Hans Zimmer was one of the composers there.
Yo, family, Hans Zimmer, look him up, family. Look him up on many cartoon
movies. Yeah. He's a heavyweight in Hollywood. So Hans Zimmer was a composer at this music advertising that I was working at. So I always, for me, I've always felt that it's important to recognize who were the people that came before you, you know, learn from them. So I've learned from everybody. I've picked up ideas from everybody. But what I learned is that I'm still me. And so my process lately has been, since I'm slowly getting into the film world, I'm getting ready to go. I want to. I'm putting the energy out there to the universe. I want to go Hollywood. I'm going. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yes, sir. It's gonna happen.
It's happening already. So for me, it's just like, okay, learning, doing the homework. So my process is you gotta pay your dues.
Okay.
I believe in that. I think you gotta go to school. You gotta understand the language, learn the ABCs, master the ABCs, and then look inside. Look who you are. I'm an American now, but I will always be an African. You know, And even with the, the world will always see me. I'll always have an accent. That's who I am. That makes me. I'm proud of that. I don't want to change it because that adds to the sauce, the universal sauce that we're all in. So the point that I'm making about that is you don't need to. So you've learned all the skill. I mean, you've paid your dues. You know how to do. You know how to do the bare minimum. You understand how to do that, right? So let's check the box. Now, what I want you to do is look and know who you are, know where you come from, and then go there and bring in what makes you unique into whatever you're creating. So my process is always thinking of my dad, who was a military guy, and he passed away, rest in peace. And he was, even though he was in the army, he was a percussionist, and he was always tapping things. My dad was always about beatboxing, like always come that was that's him, and he came up with this complicated rhythm, and so my process is just remembering where I am and understanding that you can give people something familiar but new at the same time. It's doable. So a lot of the tricks that I do now is to present people something that they know, but they always feel like, wow, something is different about it. I don't know what is in there that's different. And that's because I'm taking a lot of my African rhythm stuff, including it into the melodic things that I'm creating, and creating this mixture of Afro, Western, jambalaya, and people love it. They're just like, okay, this is similar but different. And that's something that I tell everyone. It's like, don't forget where you come from. So my process is all about learning the basics, mastering the basics, because you gotta understand that, so you don't create things that are clashing and it sounds, if it ain't broke, as Charles Oakley said, don't break it. So just like know how that works, but then to differentiate yourself, go back in your toolbox and find what makes you. Bring that out. Don't be afraid, and it's gonna be okay.
Indeed, bro. And so Inza, so with your creative process, bringing all that culture, all that experience, and just those little intangibles that you've grown up with, just like with your dad, and just your own life and your own like perspective and things on the world. What does it take for a brother, or just anyone that's in the music field or creative field to get nominated for an Emmy, man? Like, what does that mean? Because I know some people say, they get the award and like, I got an Emmy, and like, yes, an award, but like, how does that process even go to even get nominated? Okay, so there is so many layers in this. It's funny that I'm talking to y'all, and I don't want to be disingenuous. I want to be as honest to the listeners as possible. I want you to know that, I want everyone that's listening to grow and be better than me. And many of them are already better than me. They haven't been discovered yet, So I feel like one of the things that's important for everyone is to check your ego at the door. Just, you gotta squash that ego. That's like my advice to everyone out there, every MC. I've worked, again, I'm not a rapper. I'm not I did produce a hip hop band, like back in 2005 called Probable Cause. We did our things. I was just a producer on there, but I wanted to defy the rules and not just be known as, oh, he's black, so he does hip hop. Right. I wanted to just show people that, hey, that's why I ended up doing most of the music for the NBA. People don't even know that, which is the I don't know if you guys are familiar with NBA. NBA is the NBA in Spanish. Oh, okay, NBA. Yeah, okay. I was like,
so NBA is like the NBA for the Spanish market. And so I was grateful to meet some cool people, and I was doing a lot of the music, the Latin music. So it's just showing that again, going back to your toolbox, showing diversity, showing people. So to answer you, Kyle, you need to show that you paid your dues. Again, I was a dishwasher. I have, and at some point I was homeless as well. So I can never look down, upon anyone and be like, oh, look at them, because I can always see myself in. I mean, I go I went to pick up some food today, and I saw the cook, and I saw myself in the cook, Spanish actor. I saw the dishwasher. I'm like, I did that, So to get where you are, you need to like understand that there's dues to be paid, there's connections to be made, and it all takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. I've heard many no's, more than no's than yes. But when the yes comes, it's so great. You're grateful for it.
Yeah.
So how do you get? I would say, just follow your dreams, pay your dues, work hard, like learn from everyone around you. Like just learn from them, because these people have obviously been successful at it. There's nothing wrong with learning from it, and they actually want to teach you if you don't have that ego. Most of the people that I've worked with, I would say in general, have a positive view of me. They always say that, man, you're just full of hope and light. You're laughing around all the time. And yeah, I have bad days, but I just feel like it's a blessing for me to be sitting in a session and here's Shaka Khan talking to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Shaka Khan.
Man, boy, that's...
Shaka Khan said my name. Cyndi Lauper said my name. And who am I? So that humbles you, and that really makes you feel like, okay, if I stay here, if I keep working hard and I keep paying my dues, then anything is possible, including being nominated as an Emmy. So I'm giving people, like, I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to give you there's no magic to it, right? When I was in high school, I did tell someone that I would win awards. I told someone in high school that.
Okay, manifest.
And she was like, I believe you. You might one day.
Inza, did you get the number?
Heather, her name was Heather in high school.
Okay.
and I've looked for her to say, hey Heather, I want to thank you for giving me that belief, because she said she believed me. Most people, when you make it, you come up with a dream like that, they're ready to squash you or laugh at you.
They are.
Like, man, you ain't gonna achieve anything, man. Stop playing. So she was like, I believe you, and I believed her, and I believed in myself. So honestly, man, like, how do you get a nomination? Just believe in yourself and just keep working hard. And I know I've been saying that a lot. You just work hard, and I know people are working hard anyway. They're not being discovered. Times are different. But you gotta develop. Again, I go back to, you gotta do the homework, and then be resilient and stubborn, like the tree. Just the tree is stubborn. Like the leaves fall in the winter, or in the fall, in the winter, and then it comes back again. That's how you gotta grind and keep fighting and be like the hustler out there. That's what I tell everyone. Just stay up. Well, sleep, but work hard and just be out there. And you may meet someone that's gonna be like, hey, I have this project and it's gonna be dope. And then all of a sudden, someone else is like, hey, Magic Johnson wants to get involved. And then all of a sudden, so one of the projects that I worked on, Magic Johnson was involved, and then that's how we got nomination, because you are hanging out with certain crowds, so then it elevates you. So
indeed, man. Yeah. One of the greats, man. Magic, man. I mean, yo, and Inza, what you're saying is just really rudimentary, like hard work foundation. Like, you're not trying to sugarcoat and be like, we definitely understand. And people got to realize that, you're a humble brother, you're a worldly brother, but you did put in the work and you did put in lots of time. But what I'm getting from you right now is that you also have a love for what you're doing. You have an appreciation for what you're doing. So even though it may be difficult sometimes, I'm sure you have times where you like, look, I didn't go to sleep that day. Or
yesterday. Yesterday was insane. It was a tough day. I had to breathe and like meditate a little bit, because there was so many big things that were happening. And then I had a big event where someone responded to some work that I did, and I can't say her name. I told you, right, Kyle?
I believe so, yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to be like I'm just dropping names left and right, but it was just like, I was like, almost in tears. I was like, oh my God, she knows I exist. And if
It's a
she
big
knows,
name, family.
yes, if she knows that I exist, anything is possible. Anything is possible at this point. So I'm like, oh, this is a whole other level. So I'm like, I'm trying to chill a little bit, be like, okay, ground yourself, ground yourself. But Kyle, what you're saying is true, you know, like, so difficult. I'll give you my path. So when I first arrived in New York City, so I went to school for audio technical engineering and like music technology, acoustic. So I got a associate degree from Finger Lakes Community College. And one of my professor, rest in peace, and he was huge, Mr. Gary Zefting, he passed away. I have to give him a shout out if his family hears this.
Indeed.
And he recommended me and another student for an internship in New York City. And so that's how I came out here. And so it was basically an independent study and an internship. And the two of us basically did both, which was rare at the school. So then when I came here, we both thought we were going to be heading out to Quad Studio. I don't know.
Quad. Okay. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if any of those kids know what Quad is.
Just Blaze Quad Studio. Jay-Z did a lot of hits in Quad Studio and other entertainment
things that happen, you know, Tupac, all that.
Yeah, it's right. It's right.
Yeah. So
the shooting.
So when we got to New York, we realized that we were both going to a different address. So I was surprised, like, oh man, I thought we were gonna be out there hanging out with Jay-Z, P. Diddy, you know, Mary J. Blige.
Right.
And then he said, no, man, I'm going to Quad. You're not going to Quad. Man, where am I going? So then they sent me to in the advertising world, in the jingle world. And that was my path. So we split. I went into advertising. He went into record. And we would meet up and compare notes, you know, and see where we, you know, how we're learning. And so I'm only saying that to say that when I went back to school, I went back to school at City College to get my bachelor degree. And so here, and I lived in the Bronx. So to show people how this was hard, and again, this is my schedule. I would go to school from either 9 o'clock or 10 till like 3 or 4. Then from there, I would go to 19 Union Square, go to the studio because I was interning and working, and so I would go to the studio from 4 until 11, but I had to be there till the sessions was over. So if a session goes till 4 a.m., I had to be there till 4 a.m. So I'm just giving that image to show people that it took, and then I lived in the Bronx, 225 and Broadway. And my work was on 19 Union Square West, like in Union Square. So it's a long trip.
Yes, it is.
I was doing that every day. So I would go to school at 135th. You know, which was where City College is, or 137, I'm sorry. And I would come in and then go back. So doing that every day, you know, for like years.
Family, real quick, Inza, just real quick. Family, for y'all who are not in New York, that's a long, excuse my language, that's a long ass trip. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like every day. Like,
it's hard.
Even on the subway, that's a long trip. Even if you drive, that's a nice little drive right there.
And you know, it's a long trip because there was a point when the announcer would stop announcing the stops. That's when you're out there.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm like, man, you're not even announcing for us. What's going on, man?
Don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep and miss that stop. Oh man.
I fall asleep many times. Like, man, you could have woken me up. That was my stop. So yeah, I spent a lot of time. I'm only giving that to show how, you know, it was a lot of work, and I could have given up multiple times, but I didn't know what was going to happen. I just wanted to stick through it, and also once you in this, especially in advertising, everyone knows everyone. Everybody knows everyone, so you have a reputation. And
so it's real small, close knit.
It's super small, and it's extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. So I felt like I wanted to pay my dues. That's what I keep saying, like pay your dues, learn. So even though, while
And relationships, it seems like too, create those really positive relationships.
Yeah. So even though the sessions will be going on, I could do my homework in between. So many of my work when I was at this other company that I started working for was to set up the sessions, assist the engineer. That was before I started writing. I'm talking about, again, I'm saying like I was doing all the technical stuff for a long time before I became a creative. So I was mostly, that's what I mean by paying your dues. Like I was just was making dubs, which are copies to send out to clients, make the labels, make the compilations, set up the sessions, answer the phone, order food for clients.
Yeah, that's the grunt work.
Yeah, order food, and then like basically just be there until the session is over. And when the session is over, I had to break down the session because the engineer would take off. I had to break down, put all the cables away, organize the room. So that's just to show you that some of the work that was into it. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man, Enzo, you said a lot, bro. And we have a lot more stuff we want to ask of you that we would love for you to share.
Yeah.
I want to, if I can, real briefly, just approach you from a inner city youth perspective. You mentioned as part of the creative process and paying your dues. From my experience and as it relates to inner city youth, I'm grateful for the outcome that I've had, but I know mine may be unique. And the reason why I say this is because when I went looking for employment after high school, I just went looking for a job because I needed money. I didn't know about doing my research on the company. I didn't know about their financials. I didn't know about the various departments and how my skill set could benefit them and to leverage me coming. I didn't know any of that. I'm a young kid coming from the inner city, Bronx, New York, as a matter of fact, South Bronx, right? And I'm coming to
BX.
Right. I got the respect.
So I'm going into the job and I'm thinking, and to some extent it changed now because of technology, but when I was growing up back in the 80s and 90s, I'm thinking I bought into wholeheartedly the paying your dues mantra. Like if I pay my dues, put my work in, I'm going to receive the rewards. My actions rather than my words. But I was very disillusioned and let down. I worked in the corporate industry because I worked in IT. And what I noticed is when I got into corporate IT and I was paying my dues, there were certain political structures and bureaucracy in place to prevent me from basically getting my rewards for paying my dues, what they call the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
So I'm saying all that to say in regards to you, what advice could you give a young person growing up? Because now what I do in my organization is I try and give teams the tools to circumvent that. Meaning find out what you do naturally, go into a job naturally, so that way whether they reward you for the dues that you paid or not, you're still developing your inherent skill set and you're still going to benefit either way.
Yes.
So my advice to you, or not advice to you, but my request from you is, what advice can you give to young people who find themselves in that situation, whereas they don't know what they want to do, they have the mindset and the diligence and the dedication to pay their dues, but if they're in the wrong field and they're in the wrong industry, they don't cater to what they do and what they love to do naturally, and end up finding out that it's not what you thought it was in regards to what you're supposed to receive in paying your dues. What advice can you give them and how to deal with that?
Wow, that's a very good question. Because and I can't say some names, but I have people who are in places of power, who are Black like us, and they're still dealing with that question that you posed. So maybe the answer is that I can give to that person who's questioning, wondering, needing advice, knowing that challenge still exists. might be reassuring a little bit, make you feel like, okay, I'm not alone in this. There's other people out there going through this, but they're still persisting and succeeding, you know. So I would say that, yeah, knowing that there's a monster in a forest, you know, or some trickster who's probably gonna get you off your, you know, your frame and your purpose, you know, that should be like, I mean, that for me, that's like, let's go. The way, you know, I mean, it's, you know, one of the things that I'm not trying to get away from that answer, but I could say that, like, one thing that I take from I'm a LeBron guy. I know I'm gonna lose some friends, but
man, here we go. You're gonna get into that.
Hold on. I'm a LeBron guy, but what I love about Michael, that Michael created conflict. He played this mind game. He created conflicts, and he created this world where he didn't need any more motivation. He was like, he created this conflict with people who did nothing. You looked at him the wrong way, he was coming after you. You know?
Right.
You smiled the wrong way, you know, you celebrated too much, he's coming after you, and he's dropping on you, you know. And I think that's something that we can all learn from. Just because there are going to be challenges out there, you know, don't. And I'm be honest, there are challenges out there. There are definitely challenges where you're paying your dues and then you realize that, oh man, I'm doing all this work, but it's not going anywhere. But ignore all those people. Ignore what they're saying. Like you said, Coyote. Kayode. Okay, so just like you said, you learn something from it, from there. Just remember who you are. Be there, learn, soak up as much as you can, and then, you know, perhaps the fact that people are acting towards you this way, they're just pushing you towards where you need to really go. You know, sometime in the universe, some people come into your life. You may think like, wow, I mean, this was horrible. They're a gift. They were there to teach you a lesson. So now you know now, okay, I'm not going that way. Maybe you wouldn't have learned, you know, and you should be grateful that you learned it this time. Maybe it's smooth sailing from now. Maybe the next person you meet, you're gonna be like, wow, we are locked in, and I learned that lesson from that person, and I'm not doing that anymore. I have been so what I mean by paying my dues, right? So my example that I can give is, I can't say the name of these companies, but I've worked for some companies that I did all the commercials for them. Like, I did everything. And they would call me and say, oh, by the way, we know we're supposed to pay you this much. However, we have to pay the electrician.
The electrician?
Yeah.
What, like,
out of what you're supposed to get paid. So something like that happens, right? I'm asking y'all, how are you supposed to react? Do you put your arms up and be like, I give up, I can't deal with this, this is horrible, fight to the death, like, you know what, scorched earth? But yes, you can stand up for yourself, but understand that this is a lesson. You know, maybe next time you can have a much more clearer contract. You know, so I'm grateful for that person for having taught me that lesson. And now I can take it to the next level, where when I draw my contract, I can put in there all the fine prints. I need this and this and that. So I want the listeners not to shy away from conflicts or from resistance or people who don't want you there. They're not really gonna give you a chance. For me, you know, when I became a composer, it was not easy. Some people, I mean, I get this vibe that some people weren't happy that I became a composer. I'm not gonna say names, but I think there was some resistance out there. But I did something super scary. And it was a risk. I took a risk, and it paid off. So I'll say that yes, there are challenges out there, but they're meant to actually make you make you find your resolve. So that would be my answer. Like, if you're paying your dues and it's not leading to anything, it's probably telling you that maybe you're in the wrong space, and that learn what you can, and when you're ready to go, make your move. When you're ready, don't make your move until you're ready to go. Like I tell everyone that it's easy to just get up and quit. It's super easy to quit, But
Easy.
make sure you got another place set up. We all got bills to pay. Make sure you got something else set up. Be humble, put your head down, find that next gig, then make the transition, so that you take care of yourself or your family, your own, before jumping out there because you're angry and then realizing that, oh, I got nothing else to do now, and the whole world sucks if the world hadn't done this now. I'm not into that. I feel like we gotta be strategic about this. Yes, there are challenges out there for us, against us, but it's a gift. It's a gift to be challenged. I really feel like this. If you weren't ready to handle it, you wouldn't be challenged. So now you just gotta go for it. Go for it. You can do it. I tell everybody, you can do it. Just don't give up. There is this. My sister sent me one day this image. Maybe you all have seen it already. It's this guy who's digging it. He's digging a hole and digging and digging and digging and digging. You've seen it, right? It's going everywhere.
I don't think I've seen that. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
So this guy's been digging, like you can see that it's been a long hole. He's been digging and he's tired and he keeps digging and he gets to the point where he's like, I can't do it, I give up. If he had dug one more time, there's a piece of gold waiting for him right there. And he gives up.
I've seen all the diamonds. I've seen the diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, my man has seen it,
Yeah.
So I remember that. And again, you know what? It's a risk. It may work, it may not work out. But I feel like if I'm still learning something and I'm still growing and it allows me to pivot to something else, then I didn't waste it. It was worth it. Yeah.
Worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. It's all connected, man. Like, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No.
Like it's all connected. I want to tell everyone that like for me, when I look back on my life now, if it wasn't for, and I gotta give this guy a shout out, Professor Hilton. He was a professor at Ithaca College. There was a program at the school, Ithaca High School, where you could pick one individual in the community, and I think once a month you can follow them at their work. So I picked this professor, and he was a professor in a theater department at Ithaca College, but he also had his own company called Hiltronics. So he as an engineer, and he did sound. And this is all connected. I'm telling everyone, it's all connected. This man did like sound. I would follow him. He would make like the sound before the screen, like horses, like all these things.
Yeah, like a sound engineer?
Sound design, but he did everything for theater. He did like splash of water. He had all these toys. And I was like, and then I remember this guy brought me into his studio the very last day. He told me I could touch the knobs. And I was so excited, man. He let me touch the knobs. There was so many knobs on the console. I'm like, touch. And he told me to make a loop. So I created a loop myself. And I was thinking like, wow, I come all the way from Africa and I'm here in the studio making a loops. And he gave me the cassette. You know what I mean? He gave me the cassette. This man, he sent me a text he sent me on LinkedIn. He follows me. He said, Inza, I just want you to know that I watch you all the time. And I'm so proud of you. And I follow you. Everything you do. And so I feel like I want to give him a shout out. And,
Indeed.
understand that it's all connected. You're not alone. Don't give up. It's all connected. If I hadn't done that, now I'm going back into film. You can see that it all makes sense. It's like if you put that seed there, it grew. I didn't even think about it. I could have given up, but I didn't. And now I'm starting to see the possibility. Anything is possible. So that would be my message, to everyone. Like,
thank you, Inza.
Yeah.
Okay. And that goes into my next question for you, Inza. Man, you're dropping a lot of jewels, brother. Trust me.
I'm happy to, man. I hope I'm not. Again, I want people to know I'm not bragging about nothing.
Nah, not at all.
2 Emmys, but I'm just saying that. Like I want people to have that joy, right? That spirit and that joy for like what you believe in, and don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone. If you believe in it, go for it. If you got a question, reach out to us. If you have questions, we may not have all the answers, but we can give you our perspective. You can accept it or not accept it, but at least you have all the options. That's all I can offer to everybody,
Indeed, bro. And that's perfect because right, we can give you our answer, but it's not the answer. And that ties into what you mentioned earlier in reference of just that whole process, those relationships and creativity and just establishing yourself in the industry. You know, I know you and I were talking earlier about it as far as like with the NBA, you work with the NA you know what I'm saying?
You know, the Spanish speakers are coming after you, man.
I know, man. I'm sorry.
NBA, NBA.
Lo siento. All right. So
NBA.
reference
ENEBEA. Yeah.
Yeah, NBA. Yeah. NBA. Okay. All right. So,
okay, should I say in Ebonics, man? What's
right. Forgive me. You know, what is it? Blame it on the mind, not the heart. Blame it on the mind, not the heart. All right.
Go on.
So, real talk though, you know, we talked about, you know, people are talking about the sports thing going on because you work with sports entities, organizations, especially NBA, NHL, and others. Why don't we talk about earlier about like with this COVID that's going on, players trying to get back, and then you said that you admired LeBron. We talked about Kobe, you know, like that, you know, that seems, yeah. So I wanted you to kind of go into that a little bit because I see Kobe as an artist. Like, I respected him more after he retired than when he was playing. Even though we're in the peer group, we're in the same peer group, Kobe and I.
Yep.
How do those things affect you and your work as far as, you know, working with those organizations and then dealing with them coming back or not coming back or delaying? Like, how does that work?
Now I got into. I first of all, I love Kobe. Yeah. I don't know. It hit me hard when Kobe passed away. I was like, man, I can't believe it. And my first commercial that I did was with Kobe Bryant.
Wow.
You know, so it was like, man, you know, it goes to show you like nothing is guaranteed, man. Nothing, like anything can happen to any of us. You know, if it can happen to him, I mean, his future was like he was working on Wall Street. He was winning Oscars. He had the books. He had the brain. He had the books. His daughter. I was like, man, this guy was like a role model. Even though, I mean, he was a role model. I really loved what Kobe was about to become. You know, what he was becoming, even more than who he was, which was a beast. But I just felt like he was separating himself from MJ. You know, everyone had said that he copied the move, and he called MJ. You know, speaking of paying your dues, he paid his dues from him.
He did.
But you can see his career was going a different place that MJ was going. He was going to be a multi-billionaire. There was no doubt. You know.
I think so.
So I started in. You know, I remember sitting in front of my couch in Africa watching NBA with my dad, and who passed away. So it was always on my mind when I first came here. Even though I started writing mostly in advertising, doing jingles and commercials. That's actually how I started for the music. But my second, as Coyote mentioned about transitioning and doing other things. So my next chapter was sports. I was like, I could bring music and sports together, bring them together. There's still drama and passion, so anything is possible. So my entrance in the NBA was doing that commercial, you know, that had Kobe Bryant and many others. Like I think Iverson was on there as well, and it was like, it was a perfect world. You know, I really loved, you know, being involved with it. It was always a joy. I mean, I'm still involved. It's just a blessing to be there and add to all those excitement that every, you know, people in the arena, or people watching it on TV, or those listening on the radio. It felt like you're part of a bigger family. And so the NBA is like a family. The NBA is a family. The WNBA is a family. You know, you know. So now that we're all dealing with, you know, COVID, no one is working, but it's like, you know, it's about to start in July 31st in Orlando. You know, thinking back, maybe they could have done it in New York, because New York definitely, you know, handled the COVID a lot better than other places, especially Florida. But you know, I think there's a lot of fear. People are nervous, as you guys notice in the news. There's some players that are dropping out,
Yeah, they are.
and it's a massive disruption. And people don't understand this. Like when you go to the game, there's so many people involved. It's like huge business. You got all the people don't even talk about the vendors. The vendors
Right.
that are there, they all depend on the game happening. So it's a huge disruption in their livelihood. And what about the security guards? What about all about the concession people? And all that. It's like huge industry being disrupted. And of course, you want safety for everybody, and that's more important. People over money. I'm always down for that. But the NBA, especially with the commissioner, are doing a really good job in communicating and letting the players know what's really happening. They've done a lot of testing, so they're already ahead of the game. And I think it can be done. With technology now, I'm sure there's some stuff that can be done. I'm not a spokesperson for the NBA. I'm just someone who was involved, but I have my ideas. What we could do. But so far it's happening. It's happening in. Also I forgot the DJs. I'm a composer, but there are the DJs. We don't do the same thing. DJs are in there, and they also have to be there. Present.
That's right. The game DJs, right? Like during the timeouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be there. And so their livelihoods were also disrupted. So we were before COVID hit, we were all getting ready for NBA Africa League.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we were all getting ready for that, which was going to be 13 teams.
Nice.
And so that was supposed to happen, but now disruption. So the WNBA usually is around now. That's also being disrupted.
Yeah, it is.
So when it comes to the NBA, it's the NBA. I know football is important. I get that, but I also feel like the NBA is the one sport where the players have power, and when you have a voice, when LeBron James said he wants to play, that's the biggest voice out there. So everybody's is like, okay, how do we make it happen? So that's basically what's unfolding right now. So I don't know if I was answering your question.
Oh, definitely. No, you definitely did. Because I wanted to get a little bit of insight. Because like I said, you work on a somewhat inner circle of the NBA. Because we're hearing things outside. Some players want to play. They're thinking about changing locations now from like Orlando to Vegas, but they initially had thought of Vegas anyway. So it's just like, do you have any like insight that we may not be hearing?
Right now, I mean, I know from my one of the VPs who's very close to me is that it's supposed to happen in Orlando. It's still, because it would be such a difficult logistic to try to this short, because again, like I said, it's a big company to try to move everything in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. That's tough. You gotta so there's a lot of, so far it's leaning, unless things go crazy in Florida and many players drop out because they feel nervous for the safety of themselves or their families. But if the NBA does it well, then that might be sending a message to the rest of all the other sports in America, and everyone might get on board. That's the one thing that I was trying to say, that the NBA is a leader of. They actually, players are in charge. The commissioner is an amazing guy, and when when they do something, it reverberates everywhere else. So we're hopeful. There's a lot of unknown right now for everybody. I feel bad for. I had finished 2 of my contracts, so I was okay. But I feel bad for some of the workers who really depend on this. It's they're not getting paid like a lot of money, so it's a big, So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Because you make a great point. Because the people that are inside the organization in the NBA, and then you got to think of like those small markets where they depend on that.
They depend on
those cities, those certain cities.
Especially, and those the suites, all the suites up there for all the executives. That was like that's huge business as well. So people are dealing with health, and then also economics. It's all merged in, and I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. I can only say that if there's a way to do both safely, that's the way to go. Because, I mean, unless we have a vaccine, which is a few months away, so you would have to wait till the end of the year to have something. And,
Right.
You know, but yeah.
Okay. Dang. All right. Yeah. Yeah. And even with that vaccine, it could be problematic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm not touching that. I'm staying away. but yeah, no, but seriously, man, we usually when there's a disaster, and we can say this pandemic is definitely a disaster. Sports is always there to pick people up, you know, to give you, you know, to give you something, you know, to feel like
escapism in a sense. Like
today was a tough day, but you know what? I'll go watch the Knicks. You know, give him a shout out. The Bulls. That's right. So I feel like that's missing, and there's a void. But you need good leadership. You need like professionals to make sure that people don't get infected. Because you really want to do, you know, I really feel like they should handle this the way other nations have done it, you know, and been, you know, strong and strict about it, and we're able to tamp it down. But if you're gonna have it flare off here, then there, then a player gets infected, then it comes back, and you know that's not good either for the sports, because that's gonna delay even the season late next year. You know, because they were planning on coming back in December. We're gonna go from now until October, and then come back in December or November. I'm not sure. Yeah, December. So to have a shorter season, 2021, 22. So who knows? You know what's gonna happen? Yeah.
We're at the top of the hour, Inza, so we value your time. We don't want to.
But before we leave, I got to ask one more question.
No, I'm good. We can go a little longer. How's that?
Okay, cool. Let's do it. All right,
we'll do an extra 15 to 30 minutes.
You know what?
Extra hour, man. He got it.
I was late. I'm making up for that. I apologize.
No question. But now, Phil, you see, he said that. We didn't say that, you know, so we just making sure. But brother, we value your time for sure. We value your time. And, you know, you just got a lot of jewels I know that the family would love to hear. I mean, like I was telling, like him and I ends up talking. These are brothers that don't get a lot of shine, don't get a lot of publicity because they're busy doing the work and they're behind the scenes. But they are successful just as a person who's in the limelight. So that is why I'm glad that Enza was able to come on, because these are the type of folks that, again, when you think of success, you think of just the people in the limelight. But there are other people who are not in the limelight who are just as successful, and they're doing what they love. And that's one of the ultimate things that you can do in life, is to have an occupation that you go to every day that you actually enjoy, you know, and actually you're able to pay your bills with and like live a comfortable life, whatever that is for you.
Yeah.
So
and you can definitely make some good money. You know, I tell everybody that you can. I mean, I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful for it's challenging. Sometimes there's no money, but then when you get paid, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm actually getting paid. You know? So that's what I can say to people. It's hard, but it's definitely worth it when it's done. And also when you turn the game on, and like I have a few spots that are still that run even during every season. Like it's still running. People don't know it. Again, I'm in the background. People don't know what I do. I don't get credit. They don't write my name. And sometimes I hear it. I'm like sitting there and I'm like, they're still running this thing? It's like 5 years, it's still running. And it's really cool. You're like, thank you. You know, and even if I'm not part of the game, I feel like I'm part of the game, you know? And so definitely, you know, there are people like us that are doing it, and we want more people like us. I mean, I tell everybody that we need more. We need more brothers and sisters that are creators to come in there. You can be an editor. You could be a script writer. You could be a graphic designer. You can be, you know, a light person. You can be a sound person. You can be, you know, if you want to dance on the court between halftime, anybody wants to sing the national anthem, I can hook it up for you, you know. whatever.
Hey, that's a real thing, family. Like, he's not joking. Like, he's not joking.
And you never know, you may get discovered that way. You know, it's all about exposure, right?
Yep.
So I definitely we need more. There's more. We need more of us, because when I go up and I'm being honest, what I've noticed is that and again, this is no diss against anyone, whoever sees this, I'm just being honest. When I'm on the first level, first floor, or at the gate, I see a lot of people like us. As I go up go up in the stairs and in the elevator, and I go higher and higher up, I see less and less of us. You know, that's not cool. We need more of it. We need our sisters there. We need our brothers there. We need our Latinos brothers there. We need more diversity in that place, man. So I'm definitely every time I just had a call. I just reached out to someone at who's a VP at the national in NHL, National Hockey League. And I told her, I said, hey, I want to get up in there, and she said, we need more people like us. So she was a VP, she's a Black woman, and she told me, send me all your work. And so I'm still doing the work. Even though I'm working in the NBA and all different kind of sports, I still want to find the next frontier, like the next place we can get in. And like, if I get in, I'm gonna recommend someone else. Hey, you come on in. I can't do it today, but I got my man. I got Jaquan here. He's gonna take care of it. I can't do it. I got Shaniqua. She's gonna handle it. I'm just kidding. All right, folks. But I don't care. I just want people to come in. I want more of us to come in. And as soon as you get in there, though, I want to make sure that you hold your own. Like you belong here, and that you do your work, and it's excellent. Because the one advice that I can give everyone is your last job. I mean, how do I say it again? Your next job could be your last job. So remember that the last job that you're doing sets up the next job after that. It's like advertising for the next one. So every work that I do, is setting up the next one. So there's always two jobs happening. So you're never behind. I don't know how to explain it. Don't slack off, because someone might hear what you did and they didn't like it. They're not gonna call you anymore, and you're done.
You're blacklisted.
Or whitelisted.
So give it all you got. Make sure it's dope, it's nice, and then do your best, high quality. That's the base. That's the basic. Get that done, and then and then it sets up the next work. That's one thing that's been serving me very well. Like everything that I've done has led to the next one. It's been like a domino effect, like boom, 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 boom. So that's important.
Thank you. You touched on something very key. A lot of these young people and people in general don't realize careers that exist. Like, for example, you mentioned editor, you mentioned script writer, you mentioned graphic designer. A lot of young brothers in particular whose mindset, as far as when I ask them, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? Or what do you want to be? Or what do you want to accomplish? Their vision is limited to being a sports athlete, like a LeBron James,
right?
Michael Jordan and things of that nature. But they don't realize. The percentages of them making it to that level. Number one, and all that's involved. Just because you're a good player, don't mean you're going to get there. There's packaging involved.
Yes,
right. Present yourself. All these things play a part, and you get into that level, which they don't realize. But they also don't realize if you love basketball, if you love that sport, there's careers within that sport that you can dominate. That you may be good in it. They don't realize. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
That brings me into the next question that I wanted to ask is like, from Africa, and why is it important for Africans in America and abroad to be involved in, so to speak, STEM activities and careers? Like, for example, why is that necessary and important that the young are exposed to STEM and STEAM, which includes science, technology, engineering, arts, and math? Like, what is your take on that? Why do you think it's important?
Did you say Africans or African Americans?
Blacks here
Okay.
and Africans
Yeah.
combined to make African American. So both.
Why is it important for them to do that? Yeah. Again, it's I one of the things that I tell everyone is, and I repeat, you gotta pay your dues. I really believe in that. I mean, I don't want to skip over that. I think it's so important. You can't shortcut, and there's not a lot of LeBron James out there. There's only one LeBron James that I've met. I haven't met any LeBrons in my whole life, and he's built differently than everyone else. If you've met many LeBrons, you know, good luck to you, you know. But
yeah, let me know.
But for everyone like me, there's many out there who are bright, that can get in the door. You could become like a sport agent. You can go to law school. You could become like a consultant and start making like 6 figures. There's so much. And if you want to play basketball, you know, you could be out there on the court after they played, and you can shoot a few if you want, but
right.
you're a consultant or something. You know what I mean? So all that is there for you. So I would say that definitely get your educations, you know, and the reason why I focused on math when I started teaching after school is because I noticed that a lot of the girls, especially Black and Latinos, I hate math. That comes up all the time.
Yes,
hate it.
Yes,
I don't like it. It's boring. You
I
telling
was
me?
one of those.
Yeah, it's boring, and I'm sitting there like, if you knew that your brain, you could do this. You could do this, and I encourage everyone. Yes, it's boring, but you learn it. You can do this. You can master this. You can get better at it. So already there's a stigma that society has for Black people that they're not smart, they're not this. You know, don't do it for them. Don't do it to prove the naysayer wrong, but do it for yourself. You know, give yourself as many options as possible. Still play your basketball, do your tennis, do any sports you want to do, but don't give up on that tool that's there for you. You know.
Real quick, I'm hearing from a lot. I'm sorry, Cal. Just one.
No, you good.
I deal with young people and teens, and you know, I have plenty of opportunities to talk with them and chop it up and stuff like that. And I'm hearing a theme now taking place where they say, "What's the sense of learning trigonometry, calculus, and all this other stuff when I'm not going to use it in the real world anyway?"
Yes, I've heard that.
What do you say to them?
What do I say to that?
What's your question on that one?
And I should be asking you, what do you say to that? You know, I'm curious.
You are guest, bro.
I want to know. Okay. Okay, so all I'll tell them is this. I went to school to study philosophy. They're not hiring any philosophers out there. The last person that was hired was probably Descartes. You know, that's a joke, but Descartes was not hired. You know, he was out there, and they're not hiring. But what I learned is like about how people, you know, like I learned certain things, that discipline, how to read a book, how to read it backward, how to deal. And I'll tell everyone this. This is super important. How you carry yourself in a meeting, on a board meeting with all these clients that are there will determine whether or not you're going to stay in that room or not. So if you don't know how to behave, there's like rules you don't learn this in school. You don't learn this in a book. Once you get in there, that's when you realize it. Your eyes open up, be like, whoa, I am not ready for here, or I am ready. So that's why education comes into it. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you persistence, trouble solving, how to approach things quickly. So that's why, you know, that's why you're learning all these things in math or physics or any other subject. It's just to get your brain to start figuring out how to process things in real time when it's happening. Yes, I'm never going to need, yes, it's true that, I mean, let's be honest. All of us are using math. You want to do music? Music is math.
I was just about to say that.
You can't run away from it. when you start learning the 12 tone steps, you gotta do math. It's the graph of the 12 tone steps is actually math. It's like, oh my God, all these you can't run away from it, right? You can't escape it. And and all I'm saying is that you already have it in you. Like I tell every minority, you already have the skills in you. Don't be afraid of those numbers. Accept it. Just accept it. Accept it. Don't resist.
It's part of you.
Make it part of you. Embrace it, and then walk with pride with it. You know, and you'll be surprised to be like, wow, I'm actually really good at this. I've had students come up to me and so the last year when I took a break a little bit, but at Bank Street, and I tell this story. There were fifth graders. This is an amazing story. I have a video. I can show you to it. I'll send it to Kyle another time.
Please, yes.
It's one of the most beautiful story, right? This girl, I cannot name her name, but she hated math. She was in 5th grade. She did not like it out. She would cry when I would ask her a simple question like, here's 2x plus this, blah, blah. She would cry, not even trying. And it was so hard. And then she would put her head on the table and start crying. And I kept looking at her. I said, I need to reach her. Mm-hmm. I have to find a way. Mm-hmm. So we had this challenge. It was called Pie Day. We're going to do a pie challenge.
Oh, I think I know where you're going.
Yeah. So we basically had it was in 3 parts. Mm-hmm. So first part, we had them, we give them the whole list of the pie list, like the whole list, and let them say, okay, take it, memorize as much as possible. We give you 2 weeks, and we're gonna have a little contest here. Mm. And there'll be there'll be a contest, and there's gonna be a winner. But take it with you. Many of them took it. We gave them a copy, and then we said, okay, the day of the test, half of it, we're gonna be cooking pie. So we baked a pie, mm-hmm. and then I asked them to split the pie evenly. Mm-hmm. So you have to use math to do all this stuff. So what I learned, man, in this is that it's not that the kids can't learn; it's that the incentive is missing. If you can find this incentive to get them, they're gonna jump on board. They're gonna be loving it. So if you hear someone say, "Well, what am I gonna use this for?" That's not the point. The point is, how do you hook them to get on board? That's one thing that I learned, and because I know for adults, we're like, well, I want to make the money. That's the incentive they're thinking about. I want to be a basketball player. I can make money. I can be famous. That's the incentive. But many people don't know what I do. They don't even think about. For me, the incentive is, wow, I can't dunk. I almost dunked one time. I can't dunk. I mean, I can dribble. I used to play basketball when I was in high school until I got kicked out. But I am in the NBA working with people. I mean, you know what I mean? Like the pride that you get. So we had these girls do the pie. They were all excited. I said, well, if we're gonna cut this and share it with all the people, everyone in the class, how many pieces would each person get? They figured it out quickly because I said, if you don't hurry up, we ain't gonna eat. They figured it out.
Man, yes.
And they ate this thing. There was a celebration. We made so many different pies. And then we had the contest of reciting the pie. And I tell you this girl jumped up there and started memorizing. She didn't win, but she got so far. I was like, I can't believe it. And I saw her when we had we had the auditorium where we had all the parents come, and then we played the video so they can see their child reciting. And I glanced at her with the parents, looking at herself reciting pie and reciting it, moving her mouth with it. I mean, seriously, that for me was like such an amazing moment. The girl who won, she's in 5th grade. What's funny is that about 5 years before her, I was her brother's 6th grade teacher. And I didn't know this. So she won, and she remembered 79 digits after pie. I'm giving you that to you. Y'all go look, 79 digits.
79 digits after pie?
Yes. 3.15, and she kept going.
Ooh, 79.
Yes, sir. Fifth grade.
Great. So that's what, 10, 11 years old, roughly, maybe.
The reason why I did that, I'm hoping that she can use that and remember, just like I remember being in the studio using nubs. These people don't forget. All you need is touch one person. My last story about this is that I had now a senior was she a senior, or she was a senior or about to go to college, a girl that I had when she was in 6th grade. And she came up to me and she said, they call me Mr. Inza, you know, they don't say my last name. She said, Mr. Inza, I just want to share something. She's now a woman now. She said, I just want to tell you something. And I said, hey, and she was one of the bright students I really enjoyed. She was smart and I was happy. I knew this girl is going to get somewhere. She's going somewhere. She said, today we had to write a paper in my school and they said to talk about one teacher that influenced you. And I mentioned your name. Come on, bro.
Yeah, man.
I turned around, there was a tear coming. I was like,
Cue the music.
I turned it
was it that Prince tear that like stopped and then dropped right there?
Yeah, it was coming. Yeah, it was about to come down. I said, you better stop, ninja. Get away. It was so something like that, man. That's all you crave for. That's like what you want to hear. And so that's a long story. When these people tell me that, I just want them to know that it's possible. You just gotta change the incentive, and anything is possible.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very
man.
good.
Yeah, man.
I like you said, I converted it to something that they can relate to.
Yes.
As, you know, cost of living expenses,
Good.
economics,
Yeah.
basketball in regards to angles, how you have
Angle,
trajectory to get into the rim. So I'm very creative at how I get them to incorporate the importance of calculus and trigonometry. So that's just one of the examples. Like yours is.
Now go ahead, Professor. Tell them. That's the professor, man.
Yeah, man. He dropping it.
I know. He's not playing. You know.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I'll be Googling him very soon. You know, trying to get some lesson from you. You know.
Right.
Both ways into both ways.
Come through, but yeah, Enzo, man, but yeah, bro, that's like those are things, man. As an educator, as a teacher, that are like you cherish the most, man. People don't realize you get that value, that gift of them giving that back to you and being able to see that you enrich their lives in some way, man. That is priceless.
Yes,
like people don't really understand like how good for the soul that is.
And Kyle, to add to what you said, like what I'm fortunate for. So I started teaching them music production. That's what I started in my first year. And then I noticed they were all like, yeah, I want to do it. I want to get in. And they were all excited. And then I was like, let's do math. Nah, we don't really want to do that. Thanks, bro.
Like, having fell too. Nah.
I'm like, man, that's not how we spoke to our teachers when we were young.
Oh, man.
No respect. Sarcastic. I'm gonna be nah. So they're like, nah, man, thanks a lot. We're good. We don't need that. so I said to them, I said, look, I said, okay, so if you take the class, I'll pick one student and their parents to come to a game. Yeah, for word?
What's on now? It's on now.
Easy to get, but you just wonder where people get it. But it starts young, I guess. Sorry, it got dark here. I gotta turn the light on, but
yeah.
The light. So that's my incentive. Like I try to use sports, like you were saying, Professor. I try to use sports and music and other things to try to get them into it, but also let them understand that I have 2 degrees. I'm grateful for that. And why did I study philosophy? I wanted to learn, from all the great philosophers and understand what they learned. And like when I studied, when I did symbolic logic in college, that was a really challenging course.
Wow.
Symbolic logic was very difficult. And I remember this class that I took it, and this professor was known for like failing everyone. He was known for that. You fail. He made you. If he said he's known for it, don't take that class. It was a summer class.
I can't stand professors like that.
Yeah, that was his reputation. I took the class, man. I was like, I'm doing it. I took the exam, and he had a rule. He said, if you fail, so this is what he said, and that's part of symbolic logic too. He said, if you fail, so symbolic logic is a lot of if then.
Okay.
If you do this, so you go check it out. It's very tricky.
Yeah.
So he says to me, he says to the class, he said, if you fail all the quizzes and you pass the final exam, you pass.
Mm.
You know?
Those professors.
Yeah, I'm like, this is evil. That's a trick. You fail all the quizzes. And he said, yeah, I don't care. You fail all my quizzes, pass the final exam, you pass. And then he said, on the other hand, if you pass all the quizzes and you fail my final exam, you fail.
Hey, that's a
Yeah.
It's a little different, but I get it in a sense. But still, man, that's because are the quizzes based off the are the tests based off the quizzes? You know, like
you hope so.
Right. Now that would make sense for me to say, okay, I see where you're, even though that's a limited logic, but I see kind of where your logic comes from. If the tests are based off the quizzes, but if they're not, and it's like some other stuff you just threw in there, like off the riff, like off the cuff, then I can't follow.
So you see, you would have done well in that class. So I remember taking that class, right? And then the final exam is done. He comes in. It's the last day to catch him. He's giving all the grades, and he's failing everybody. I get a D. And I'm sitting there like, there's no way I got a deal. Everybody's like, oh man, we knew we were gonna fail. But so I followed him to his classroom, and I said, Professor, I think you're wrong. Here are my answers. Because it's not like I took the test home. You just gave us the test, you know. But I think you're grading me wrong. Here are my answers. And he's like, well, show me your path. I had put all my answers on the left. He had read he stopped on the right. And then he looked and said, okay, so I said this connects here. And because he wants to make sure that I didn't add it. And he said, oh, okay, well, you passed. So he went in and I passed. So I could have, I'm just saying that I could have easily failed that class if I hadn't gone after him and used logic.
Self-advocacy. I talk about that with students all the time. What I've learned from me teaching with high school students, a lot of them do not have that skill of self-advocacy coming from high school into college.
Yeah.
And it's not even their fault. It's just that that is something they don't realize that they need going into that next phase.
Right. They haven't been taught. I have one of the teens that I mentor who was looking for some employment, and I was like, follow up with these people in this department. Just email them and ask them questions, and they followed up and they got their answers. Now, had you not followed up, you would have never had that outcome. So they're not going to do that follow-up.
Absolutely. And that was like a valuable lesson that I got. And he gave me, and this professor was known for saying some controversial stuff. And he went on Oprah and said some stuff, but I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, he said some stuff about people, you know, that's all I can say about people. And so I was convinced. I said, I'm not gonna fail to this person. I was determined, and that's the kind of grit that I tell everyone. Is like you have to have faith and you have to follow through, like you said, Kyle, and really go in there. Kyle and I met at the monthly music hackathon.
Yes.
So I want to bring that up there because one thing that I want to mention to everyone listening. In light of everything that's happening with the Black Lives Matter movement, me and Shiguri are the only Black people in this group. So we're trying to bring in more people. So if there's any hackers out there, any coders or any composers who are looking to collaborate with actual hackers, maybe you don't know how to code, but you want to work with help them, like give them ideas. So if you have ideas about a musical instrument that you want to work on or something, but you don't know how to code the software, we can hook you up. And we need I'm going to be Kyle and I will talk. I'll send once we're ready for our next event. I'm gonna
Yes.
send you all the information, and then you can. I'm bringing all those. I'll send you a call of proposal, and you can invite all those ideas. And we want to have more diversity. That's a big thing that we want to do. And so music and so basically we have hackers and musicians coming together.
Yes, it's a great mashup. Great collab.
Yeah, it's great. We had Kyle. Did you saw the last event, right?
Did I go to the last event? I might have missed that last.
We did on Zoom. We had a Zoom our first.
I was a part of that. Yes, I was maybe for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I was able to chime in. Yeah.
We basically, as Kyle would tell you, we go from noon till about 8 p.m. So it's a whole day, but you get to meet a lot of interesting people, and you get to collaborate. We had two CEOs join us. Founder of Jam Kazam, and then the founder of this other software that's really picking up right now. And they both came and spoke to us and gave us their feedback. And also we started it off with my friend and someone I really love, Bashiri Johnson. And he's a percussionist of the world. He's played on every record, James Brown, Michael Jackson. He was on the tour, the final tour for Michael Jackson. Before he passed away, This Is It. He was on the album. He's a percussionist. So he blessed us. He started it off. But next time he's gonna be giving a seminar there and talking about music.
On there.
And he's a positive, super positive and brother. And this is like a jam. These are like people. He plays at the White House for Obama. He played with a lot of several times. I can show you the video. And these are people that I was very fortunate in advertising to meet, and I've stayed very close with. One of my best friend, I could say my best friend, is I think he's 66 now. His name is Curtis King. He sings backup for Bruce Springsteen. But he's been on tour with Luther Vandross. He's been on everything. So these are the people, as Carl is talking about us being in the background and no one knows us. These are people you've heard. You've heard in your home. You've listened to them, but you didn't know who they are because their name is not featuring. So and actually he's in the Netflix special. What is it called? 6 feet from 12 feet from. God, I'm messing it up. 12 feet from I'm sure your listeners will know it. 6 feet or 12 feet from stardom or something. It's on Netflix. It's about singers, jingle singers who or backup singers who did not necessarily. They asked them, why didn't you become a singer? Why didn't you follow that? And they're like, well, I wanted to be a backup singer. Oh, it's 6 feet from stardom, I think.
Okay, that sounds like it's about right. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so go check it out. And so my friend Curtis is there on the background. He's there with, and many of these backup singers, ladies that are there, I was fortunate to meet and work with in advertising, because there was a merger. People started in record first, and then the jingle became a big thing, and then they all went in there. Now the jingle big business has gone down, and so yeah, it's basically. So I'm just bringing him up just to say that there are special people like Bashiri out there that people need to know and not forget. These are people who were in the background and they're doing well. They got like mentioned. They got big houses. They made money just singing, everything in the background. So you using your theme, you can still be successful even if you're not up front. You're not the front man or the front woman. So something I want to say.
And there's a lot less pressure too.
Yeah.
It is. It is a lot less pressure, man. But you're right in the scope of the stardom and fame. You're right there without the pressure. It's like
exactly.
You're right in the mix.
Yeah, not everyone can be LeBron James, and I just tell everybody Aretha Franklin, and you just Prince. I grew up listening. I bet you're gonna ask me because I've seen your show. What kind of music you listen to? So
yeah, man,
I'm prepared. I'm ready.
You know I was gonna ask that. You know I was going to ask that, brother.
I was like, let me do my homework. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know
that's how I type too. I type like that, you know. Hey, listen, I am silly. I'm ridiculous. That's basically me. I gotta be me. You know, I laugh a lot. You know, and
Very good.
you know, life is too short to be too serious. So
Love
Yeah,
it.
man. I agree.
Love
I
it.
agree. Seriously. I mean, there's time to be serious, but I mean, yeah, man, don't take it too serious. We can't laugh and joke. Yeah, bro. Like, so yeah, me and Enza met at a hackathon, at a music hackathon here in New York. And again, I don't know, family, I'm not a coder. I'm getting into it, but I mean, even if you're not into that, and I was nervous when I first went, because I'm like, man, I don't know. It's a new thing for me. But it's so welcoming, cool people from all different walks of life, all diversity, ethnicities. And as long as you cool, they're cool. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you come in there, like Enza said, with an ego, and just come in there and just be you, and just be open to network and talk with folks. And I've seen people my age, a little older, to like folks that are like just like right in high school, just about to graduate. And they are musicians, coders, photographers. I met a young brother who's a photographer out of Brooklyn who has some dope work. Met this sister. She was from Manhattan, and she was a Asian ethnicity. She was like a coder / designer. So it's like a whole different mesh and mix of folks. So definitely worth it. But yeah, you know I'm gonna ask, bro. You know I'm gonna ask.
yes, ask. I'm ready.
Who are you listening to, inspired by, music wise?
Oh man, so your audience about to run away after I say the names, but but I would say like I love Prince. You know, I love Michael, but I really love Prince.
Okay.
I just was so it was really sad when I heard it pass away. I was huge fan of Prince, and so in hip hop, you know, I don't want people to be like, this guy he doesn't listen to hip hop. So obviously I grew up listening to Africa Bambaataa.
Yeah.
Yes, man. I'm not kidding. You know, Cool Modi. You know, I listen to the old school. You know, Kwame. People don't know Kwame.
I was a Kwame fan. See, now Kwame's a producer. Now he's a producer.
What?
Yeah, he's a producer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, obviously Ice-T. You know, I was down with
OG.
Ice Cube. You know, I was down with the Cube. I was definitely. You know, so you know, my influence were mostly. So I just like my life. You know, I kind of listened to everything. I went through a period when I was listening to. You know, I don't know. I've listened to everything, jazz music. Because when I was in, I studied music theory, so I took a lot of jazz classes just to again. There's no limits to what you could do, man. I'm just saying, like right now, I'm starting a production company. I'm starting an LLC, and this is crazy. This is something that you would never see in my resume, and I'm doing it. And I'm scared, but I'm doing it. You know, I'm hoping to definitely get in there with Jordan Peele. So
Nice.
So I listen to everything, jazz. You know, like I said, Miles Davis. You know. David Sanborn, you know, Chuck Mangione was a big guy for me. So I mean, if you ask me who do I listen to now, it's a Childish Gambino.
Okay.
I like the message that he puts out there. I'm listening to a lot of lo-fi these days because it calms me down. Chill music, you know, at night. Tribe Called Quest. I mean, that's like classy shit, you know. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
It's okay.
I think I'm missing some people, but top of my head, those are the people who influenced me a lot, you know. Like as I was, you know, Stevie Wonders, you know, Miles Davis, like I said, even George Benson.
Yeah, George Benson.
Let me not forget this person, Al Jarreau. Al Jarreau is my guy.
Sleeper, man. Al Jarreau, he's a sleeper. I like Al Jarreau too.
Al Jarreau, I mean, I like Bobby McFerrin, but Al Jarreau. When Al Jarreau does find young Al Jarreau. Listen to he did a version of Take 5.
Just stop and take a little time out with me. Well, just take 5, just take 5. Just stop your busy day and take the time out to see that I'm alive, I'm alive. Although I'm going out on my way just so I can pass by each day. Not a single word do we say. It's a pantomime and out of time. Still I know all eyes are for me. I feel tingles down to my feet when your smile gets much too discreet to send me on my way. Now wouldn't it be better not to be so polite? Well, you look good off, you're all right. You start a little conversation now, it's alright. When you take it by.
I dare everyone to go listen and try to do the same thing today.
You said a version of Take 5?
Take 5.
Okay.
Al Jarreau did his own thing, and the artistry, the intelligence, the homework. This guy was on point, and that video is on YouTube. You can watch. He did it live too. All the man, it is like it's so good. I love this guy. I love his skills. I didn't want to forget him. So
he's masterful. Him and Bobby McFerrin, masterful.
Definitely.
Yes.
Masterful.
Yeah, but now who am I listening to now? Because of where I'm going, I'm listening to a lot of the competition out there. But I don't want. I like to see. I'm like MJ. I'm looking for conflict. So, so I'm studying a lot of that. Many of the composers who are doing many of the trailer music out there. I'm studying. I'm doing a lot of homework on that. I'm having my own orchestral album coming out very soon.
Nice.
Nice. So
can't wait to cop that, man. I'm definitely copying.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be. I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be cool. There's a lot of so Thomas Newman is someone that I'm studying, and obviously John Williams. Everyone knows John. When I keep saying do your homework, John Williams. Do your homework. Go listen to John. I mean, John. Come on, everyone knows John Williams, right?
I know the name, but everything that's
a hit. Everything that's a hit today. Every movie is like, if you hear Indiana Jones theme.
Oh yeah.
If you hear Star Wars.
Yeah.
You just name it. That's the man. That's the that's the man.
Okay.
So John Williams, and so I'm learning. I'm just learning what these guys are doing. Like even Hans Zimmer, I listen to him a lot just to pick up. Thomas Newman, I love his sensibility. Thomas Newman, and these are people that Christopher Nolan hired. And so you got to know who is being hired by the directors and like figure out what's the sound that's happening. Now there are, I think Goranson, I forgot his name. There's all these new guys who are doing, I think the composer for Black Panther. It's a European guy. I forget his name.
Yeah, and the only reason I know because when the Black Panther came out, I was looking at all the different people who made it happen. I was trying to keep up. But I know who you're referring to, but I can't remember the name.
So I'm like, why not have a brother like me do a movie like that? You know what I mean? So we gotta get up in there. I got nothing against having other races do this. We can have Asian. We can have. But we want to compete too.
Absolutely.
I don't want to just compete. Yeah, I don't want it to. That's all we want. A fair fight.
Yeah.
I don't. We don't want it to just be what's his name? It's like, okay, Black Panther is all these black actors, but now you're like, who's doing the music? Oh, it's this dude, and he did a good job. But I'm like, hey, I'm from the motherland. We could do something too. Give us a chance. So we all up in there, trying. So there's room for all of us, especially like I was saying with the Black Lives Movement happening. It woke people up, and now I'm actually, for the first time, I'm actually writing on my resume Black composer.
Wow.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
I'm telling everyone, be proud, put it up there. Yes. Don't disappear. Just put it up there. Let people know. Let people know we're here. We out here.
Very good, AJ.
Yes.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, people. Yeah, man. It's just it goes so deep, man. As you know, it goes so deep, and just for you to be able to put that on there, and and with pride, but also to say as a standpoint, like, no, like you can't erase my ethnicity, my culture. You know what I'm saying? Recognize it and just respect it. That's all we're saying. Just recognize it and respect it. Like you said, well, all we're looking for is a fair fight. You know what I'm saying? That's all we're really saying. But a lot of people get in their feelings and emotions and get into their fractured frame of thinking, ideologies, superiority ideologies, white superiority ideologies, man, and they think like, well, it's all or nothing. Like, well, you said that. We didn't say that. You're saying that. You're thinking that in your own twisted mind and thoughts that's what is you're comprehending, but that's not what we're saying.
You know exactly. Like right now, I keep telling everyone, pure thoughts, pure mind. I don't leave any room for the negative energies to come in there. If your mindset is where it's at and you're not evolving, it's not my job to help you evolve. Mm-hmm. I gotta work on myself. I gotta bring in people who are ready to go. Right. I'm not waiting to try to fight you or argue against your view. God bless you. Go for it. You got your own journey. I got my journey.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not confrontational with anyone. And if when I insist that I'm a black composer or editor or writer, that's me saying that, hey, this is who I am. It's part of who I am. It's not saying that I'm against any other race or anything like that. You know, many of my friends are different groups, and you know, and where I work, you know, you like it or not, everyone is there. You know, but I feel like it's important to mention that. I don't want people to, you know, yes, you're trying to be politically correct, but if the playing field was never leveled, right, you know, and you didn't really announce who you are, when they look at the resume, they may not even know who you are. And right, now we're talking about having diversity. So I tell everyone it's important. Just tell people who you are. Let them know.
Yeah, it doesn't mean lesser or greater. It just means different. You know, it's like, you know, that's one of the great things about the hackathon is, like, you know, you meet people from all different walks and ethnicities, class levels, education, and it's like we just come, you know, it's like a mashup, like a mosaic, you know. Exactly. Like, again, no one's coming. The ones I've been to, no one came in with like ego. You know, it was like all really trying to get to say, well, wow, what do you do? What brought you here? You know, and all the people I've met have been real cool. Like white, black, Asian, East Indian, you know, African. Like, everybody's been cool so far.
Yeah, that's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that people felt welcome, and that like even recently, one of the things that I asked them is to make sure at the hackathon that we reach out to people who are seniors. You know, we don't want to forget people who have experience. Yeah, maybe they too felt like they got something they want to bring to the table, and so I don't want it to just be all the young people that are coming in. I want to make sure that we get different groups, age groups, to be part of it. Feel like it's a home for you too. So it's never too late to learn. So if someone wants to learn how to do Python coding, you know, there's no reason. Let's go. You know, we have people who are willing to teach you, and it will take you a couple of sessions, and you'll be surprised what you can do. You know, so don't limit yourself and be like, well, I can't. You know, I'm old now, I can't do this. It's not too late. You can learn something new, and it's like feeding your mind new food. You know, don't be eating the same thing over and over. So Jason, who's one of the members, told me, he said, Inza, I want you to run this thing now. I want you to have, you know, your face to be there. So we are organizing our first event very soon, and I really want more people to be involved. So
you got it.
I can't do it alone, so we need help.
Indeed, bro. Indeed, definitely will spread the word out there. Definitely get more age groups coming up in there for sure.
Yes, and I think you guys could help, you know, do that. We can, you know, work with you guys.
Absolutely.
Get more people to come in and let the thing grow, you know, and yeah.
Absolutely. Sure, I love to do a session. I'm just thinking of the cup. I'd love to do a session where we like maybe do something live at the spot, you know, there, or maybe, you know, interview a few people, like real talk, real time. Yeah. While there, something like that, like a group.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
And what I was gonna say is that it always feels as if it's impossible until it's done, you know. So let's make this thing become more. I mean, we're fortunate to have Spotify, you know, work with us.
Okay.
That's like a leg up already, and many
Yeah,
of
so
them,
I cool.
yeah. So they're giving us free pizza when we're there and stuff.
Yeah, they do.
And they give us and I'm sorry, Kyle, I know you weren't able to come up that time when we were having at the headquarters, the Spotify
Yeah.
headquarters. But yeah, we right now because of COVID, and we're able to do it remotely, so we can reach many more people, and people can stay home even if they're older and still be part of it and participate. You don't have to leave. You could just, and you don't have to stay throughout the whole event. You can just stay for like an hour or half an hour, ask your question, do your event, go away, come back, eat. So anything is possible. Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Definitely, man. Definitely, yeah, man. Yeah. Like, man. I don't know if you have any more questions, man. I mean, like,
Enza, you know how I do after these interviews, man. I gotta like soak it up and let it marinate and all that up.
Yeah.
Enza, man, absolute joy, man. I love your energy, brother. You're inspiring, man. Kyle, come on, don't get me started because I'm gonna be on here for another. I'm praying myself, better still.
Yeah.
No, the honor is all mine, man. Kyle, I'm sorry, I should have done this a long time ago, but I think everything had to happen when it was supposed to happen. Like, I'm about to start my own podcast, so I want to learn what you guys are doing.
Get into it.
So my podcast is gonna be about, and it's gonna be cool. I want to bring in everybody that was responsible for making jingles in American history.
Wow.
So we're gonna be talking to multi-millionaires that are coming in. We're gonna be talking to ladies who were involved in advertising, Black women who were involved in advertising before people even knew, and that people they're now older, but people don't know about them. So it's gonna be really cool. I am fortunate that all of a sudden it's just like happening, and your event is happening. So hopefully we can help each other out. I can put the word for y'all, you can put the word for us, and we can let it grow, and you can check it out. So it's gonna be fun. I want to share my experience in the industry and show people what they didn't see, the behind the scenes. So it's almost like Mad Men for jingles, but also including IP, which is intellectual properties. How is it that many of the African Americans or Latinos who are involved in making all these amazing commercials, yes, they got paid, but at the end they don't even have any equity. Like say, okay, I own this spot. Now we're talking about Aunt Jemima.
I was gonna go in there. I was like,
yeah, we want to talk about that. We want to talk about that. We want to talk about we're not talking bad about any brand. We're just giving the history behind it and having give you an image. The title is I'm forgetting. Little checks were better than sex.
Okay.
So we're better than sex, and there's a story behind it, and apparently the people who were in the know will know. Those who know will know. When I say, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this guy."
That's a crazy title. That's a crazy.
I didn't know this. I didn't even know. I was told this. They said someone said, if you say this, those who knew would know.
Okay. All right. See, family, right here first on Grand Rise and Collective Podcast. You heard it here.
Yes,
sir.
And
we got the IP on there, so don't try to get that. You know what I'm saying? We got proof. We got proof. So, the IP is solidified. Don't try it. Okay. Do not.
Yeah, man. So thank you all. I can't thank you enough, and I'm so proud of the work you guys are doing. I think anything I can do to spread the word, just let me know.
Same here.
Thank you.
And I want to encourage you to keep doing it. We need more voices, more Black men's voices. Again, this doesn't mean that we don't need other voices. I'm a big supporter of the LGBT community. I'm a big supporter of Asian American. I just feel like we're all in the same boat, and we just gotta lift each other up and encourage each other's project to rise. So whatever you're working on, let me know if I can help. Vice versa. Kyle, you know me. I'm always there for you, and whatever. So we'll make it happen.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man. Yeah, much appreciated.
Just do the sign-offs. Here we go. Handle.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got
My
it.
name is Kayode Bentley. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Balogun Logic, BALOGUN LOGIC. I have 3 channels on YouTube, Kayode Bentley, where I talk about Christianity, and now I'm getting into our African ancestry, so I'm getting into that. Also, I have Candidate Advisor, where I give advice on career development and things of that nature, relationships, and the complexities of communication. And I also have Perspective TV, where I do interviews such as this, but one-to-one interviews as it relates to those who influence in my network. Inza definitely be a part of that. Look for Inza on Perspective TV. Look out for that. And that's how you reach me. Those are my handles. Cal. Boom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. My co-host. Yes, so family, you can reach me at DIX_KYLE on Instagram. That's my IG tag. You can reach me on Twitter, KEasy773, KEASY773. And also on YouTube, I have my own kind of personal channel, Mr. Kyle Dixon. That's just my full name. You can check me out on there as well. And of course, if you have Facebook, you can also subscribe to the Grand Rising Collective channel. Absolutely. And again, make sure you please subscribe, like, share this wonderful video and all the other videos that we've done before for this episode 21. And Enzo, we're going to end it out with you, my brother. Please tell the people where they can contact you and support your work.
If you Google Inza Bamba, I'll pop up. I'm the first guy.
First guy.
And also, I got a Black Reel Award. Google that, the Black Reel Award. And also a Silver Addy Award. So anyway. So I mean that's a little bit. But you can find me on Instagram at kind of funny Inza _grams. Very simple, Inzagram. So
Grams like GRAMS.
Yeah, Inza _grams. Very easy to find. That's me. I'm just silly like that. But let me have my serious voice. You can find me on Google, InzaBamba.com. I'm out there working in NHL, WNBA, NBA, in all the arenas. You find me at Madison Square Garden. You can find me with the Clippers. You can find me with, who else? What am I with? You can find me with Monumental Sports, which is representing all the teams in Washington, D.C. So I'm out there, and I'll have my production company up very soon.
Yes, sir.
And, I'm looking forward to working with many other people and grow, and then just help our community becomes a lot better than it's been in the past. So we can do this. This is our time. Let's go.
Indeed, let's go. Let's do it. So thank you, my brother, for sharing that. Family, follow this man. Thank you for his time. Thank you for his energy. Thank you for the work he's putting out, that positive vibration and energy into the community and also into these other endeavors. And on that note, family, we wish you well. Peace and blessings to you and yours and your family during this time. Again, please reach out to us if you have any further questions. And on that note, we got to say peace.
Hey, I don't need me nobody, I need me a Rari. Yeah, bought from the seats to the lobby. Yeah, hey, it's a polish man over everything, and we not going for nothing. I think we on to something. It's getting dark in here. That mean the storm is coming. Getting it clear, black of the city, this is the district. You gotta show some respect when you here. This monumental, home of the monument, red, white, and blue. Now we block with the gear. No fear on the core, whole house core. Then bring some wood stance as the chick. DC nights, it's about to go down. Better go now if you scared. This Superman with the black suit, child boys better come prepared.
Baby, yeah. know, say, ready on this. You know I have patience.